receive great comms.
Perfect. No.
All right, let's try this again. Holy. Okay. Back. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Had a conversation with him. Basically said I wanted to put together a proposal because he said stop coming with complaints because I was saying like since February I've sold 88 houses and made a total of 161,000 on average. I make less than 2,000 per house that I've ever sold. In the last week I've only had 3 days that none of my properties have sold out of the 7 days I've listed. So I've made zero, and he's like, Tammy, I don't want to hear your excuses and complaints. I need solutions. And I said, okay, well, I'll get you solutions. And so I said, I'll put together a proposal, right? So my intention was that we could all work together to put together, a proposal. Ellie was going to work on one and get something for tomorrow. I was going to work on one. And then obviously we were going to have a conversation and I would have you also work on one and then we could meet. I get a call about 30 minutes later saying, where's the proposal? And I said,
oh yeah, he's like that.
I'm working on it. And I said, I'll get it to you as soon as possible. He said, I want it now. And I was like, okay. And so, I quickly
You don't have much time.
put
Yeah,
something together, right?
Respond,
and I was like, if I don't, then I might lose the opportunity. Definitely wasn't trying to do it without like everybody involved. But I slapped it together and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. If it doesn't work, then we all come up with something and put it back in front of him again. And that's it. So I proposed that for houses that go for 100K or less, that we make 4% commissions. Any houses over 100, we are at 2% with a cap of 15,000, which he agreed to. I requested that we get mobile clock on because a lot of times we might have headaches when we're showing houses.
You guys not have that?
What?
No, that's only you.
I don't have that.
No,
When I got hired by Nash, she told me that's how you clock on.
Yeah, so
I have to go to the office every time.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's a you thing.
Yeah, he told me once you're hired here, Leah, you can clock on this way. That's all. I knew. I thought everyone did.
No.
Oh my God.
No, and I mean, obviously, anytime you clock into a different job, you're clocked off. You have to go back.
Same thing happens every time. Yeah, it's so annoying.
So, he agreed to that. And then he also agreed to giving us a third slot for direct sales. We can now negotiate. Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's just I've never been able to use a third slot for direct sales.
Yeah, we don't have one, but he said that he would give it to us before, but he hasn't done it.
Hasn't done it? Okay. I also asked if we could negotiate on direct sales our own personal commissions. So anywhere from 1 to up to 10%, we can charge, our sellers on the cost of the house. And we will be able to use a slider in our tablet to set it to whatever our closing fee is. So that's where I got. I didn't push too hard.
Okay. When you said 15K cap, what was the percentage on that?
2%.
2%.
Yep. So 4% up to 100K. So I mean, we'll still be very close to what we are, but at least at a 100K house, we'll make a $4,000 commission.
Yeah.
And then over that, right? Like 2% of 200,000 is the same, right? But a lot of the houses that we're selling
are way more than that.
More than that or under that. So even if I make $4,000 on a $200,000 house, it is what it is. But then, going up, I could have went with 20K, but what I was trying to push is that it's going to be very rare that we would ever even make 30K in a day. I just didn't want to go too high where he's like, absolutely not. Because he made the comment to me that if I think we're going to get a $20,000, or a $30,000 commission on $1 million house that I'm crazy. And I was like, no, that's not what I'm proposing, right? But like,
is that 15K before the split? So 7.5K each.
I think it's 15K per person. That's what I proposed.
Because
I mean,
the cap initially was supposed to be that as well, but then it was split, so.
Oh, well, we'll have to tell him it's 15 per person. Whether you post it or close it. So that's where I got with him.
What did he say yes to all those things, or what did he say yes to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave him 3 options.
So then afterwards he called me and said we need to speak to you, or?
No, then as I'm standing there feeding him and watering him, he called you and started telling you that I proposed 0.025%.
So he said to me, and I was like, huh?
Yeah, and he was literally just fucking with you. And then I said, don't do that. I said, she's going to be frustrated. And he was laughing. And I was like, I'm calling her and telling her you're fucking lying. And then I called you and your phone was busy. And I spammed you. And
I was talking on the phone with Ellie.
Yeah, I know. And he goes, oh, she just asked if I'm spam calling. And I said, uh-oh. And then I called Ellie and her phone was busy. I said, now Leah's calling Ellie. She's going to think that I was trying to go behind her back. I said, do you realize the stress you're putting me under? And I was like, I already had a stressful day today. And he's like, that's kind of funny because they both ran to each other and are talking shit about you probably. And I'm like,
he's gaslighting. Stop. No, you're
Yeah.
fine. The only reason why I went to Ellie is because, number one, we're both managers and we're trying to... She also has conversations from Ari and May that I don't hear, right? I have conversations from you and whoever else, other realtors. So that's the only reason why I was trying to get Ellie into the conversation and just kind of figure out what is going on. I don't mind if you... I understand you're going to call Ellie because you guys are friends. Like, I don't mind about that. It's more just... I don't know if he's calling me and said, like, Leah, we need to figure this out, because this is basically how he tells to me. Anytime he says to me, Leah, this is what's happening, and he wants me to implement it, like as the COC secretary, he basically is acted the same exact way. He said, have a conversation with them, you guys all get on the same page, and then come to me at the end of the day, and we'll change
Got your
things.
bowling.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm curious, if he said yes to all of your things,
Okay, well, if you are,
why would he ask me to have a conversation with everyone and then come to him tonight?
So he was messing with you about like what he agreed to, or what I proposed rather. But he did straight say to me that he likes so I had an option with like 3 different brackets where you had like a 4%, a cap of 10, and a cap of 15. He's like, I like option number 3, but I could give into, proposal number 1. I don't give a shit what you guys charge for your sales fees for direct. I'll do that 3rd slot, right? And he said, I'm on board with this. I approve this. And so I was like, okay, good. So then he called you and started lying.
So I mean, I know the bullshitting part. I'm just confused about, he wants to meet with me.
He probably just wants me to fill you in on everything he's agreed to like get it set up, I think. But I sent him the proposal. I can send it to you guys too.
Are you completely fine with this, Ellie? Or do you want to talk amongst all 3 of us, choose something, and come to him? Since he's already approved this, I don't completely disagree at all. But if we have a solution that we all also might like, then that's completely fine as well.
Yeah, I'm open to whatever you guys think too. I was just put in a really tough position where I had a very short period of time to get him something, or he wasn't going to listen to me.
Yeah.
So I did my best with what I had.
Like, my proposal is when I called Ellie and she said, well, maybe we should talk about it. We should take our time and make sure it's not like a rushed conversation, which is a lot of times with cult, it seems like a very rushed conversation that you have to decide. But behind the scenes, he's very reasonable about taking his time and, actually going over spreadsheets and numbers in the office. So if we do need to like have that conversation later, it's not like a huge deal. The one thing that I thought maybe if he completely doesn't implement this, because he's told us things that he would implement before and has not done. The only thing that I can think of, if he does not want to implement this or doesn't implement it and just saying yes to you and not really doing it, because he said that to so many people around the city before. Not anything against you, but he's literally told people around the city to say something about a business, and then will literally turn back into me and be like, we're not doing that with you.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you a heads up that could happen. My only thing that I could think of in this sort of a time period was to look on the percentage that somebody has on their interest rate and basically calculate how much the state makes on top of the price of the house. So that difference. So say an asset is $2 million. Say someone's percent is 3%. Say someone's interest rate is 3%. That means the state is making $60K off that property sale. Then we would then get a percentage of only the commission the state gets. And that way, when we get a commission based on someone's credit score, it's going to be different for every person because we help someone new in the city that has a 30%. More than likely, they're going to be getting their first property in the city. So then the percentage is going to be, their interest rate is going to be higher. So the state will be making more money, and then we will be making more money. When someone has a higher credit score, the state will still be making more money, but their interest rate will be lowered. So we won't be making an extreme amount, but we would still be making a good amount of money. And it would be basically one of those things where it makes sense because you're not making an extreme amount of money with new people, but you're making less money, but still okay money with people that have maybe you've built a rapport with. They have a high credit score. You held them out. You took your bid. That way we can kind of swing it. Like we're not trying to take extra money. We're not trying to take part of the equity of the price of the property. We're only trying to take the part of the interest that the state is already making on top of that.
Can we run an example on $1 million home at 3%?
$30,000, I think.
Then what percent are you suggesting we would make off of that? Because with what's approved now, it would be 50%. I have a feeling if we were to propose 50% of what the state's profit is, that would probably get denied.
I wouldn't ask for 50%. I'd probably ask for 25%.
So if we did,
because 25% commission is the same as a restaurant, basically.
Times 25% would make $7,500 on $1 million home. Yes. And right now he's already approved 15. So do we?
I understand that, but I'm saying on a $2 million home, we would be making more. And I think this is something that could be more feasible.
Wouldn't a $2 million be 15?
15, yeah, and then 25%, yeah. So I know it's less. I'm not trying to make more money. I'm trying to create a system that he's okay with. That way, when we are helping people that are new in the city and they have a high interest rate, we only take 25% of what the state makes.
We lose money doing it this way. That's still higher than what we're making
now. And I understand it's not $15K per $1 million house, but I think that's something that is more of a feasible ask. If he's approved, I will literally let him, if he approves you and implements what you do, perfectly fine. What you said. If he does not, then I do want to have a backup plan.
I just feel like for that one, that's putting $1 million house sales into comparison. Which, yes, we should get paid more for that, but we're not going to make shit for small houses, like, at all. It will be so even
how much
less.
Would be somebody's interest rate when they first come into the city?
Yeah, but
30%, right?
Not everyone, like, okay, people with good interest rates are still buying shitty houses. Like it's
Yeah.
just because they're new to the city doesn't
they're
mean
getting, like storage units, basically.
yes.
I'm just trying to think
one
of a way
comment-
that he'll feel like, okay, this is approvable. But if he already said yours is approved, then, I mean...
He did. And one thing we agreed on was that if we find in a month that we are making way more than we should be, it will get reevaluated. He didn't say it would go back, but he said we will reevaluate it. And
That's
I
what
said, I'm
happened with the
100%
strippers.
okay
Yeah.
with that. Because the point is not to get rich. The point is to make a
an honest
commission
living where we're
Yeah,
not
to make
like
a
struggling
commission.
to pay our rent.
that is comparable to other businesses in the city. I said we have to be able to make money to live off of and not have to have other jobs. Like the point is that we don't all want to have 4 different jobs necessarily, but to pay the bills, that's what it has to be. So, I mean, unless there's something else you guys want to add to it, I get what you're saying too, and I think it's a really creative way of doing it. But if he approves it and you guys are okay with what we have going on here, and we can
You know what's
definitely
funny is
update
that's
it. I don't know
even-
if he'll go for an updated option or not. I have no idea.
I feel like
Like,
I said
if
10K
we're making,
and I would have
you
been
know,
fine with that.
Too much.
If that. Like
it
I'm
is
not
going to get looked at. He said he'd give it a month.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, where are you at, Ellie?
I mean, I think it sounds fine.
Cammie's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I like the idea of the using interest, but I think for the overall part of it, it's better on paper than how it's going to be executed, because even people that are new to the city aren't outbidding people that have been here for a while and just want more storage.
True. It's like I did an example on a calculator. So someone who has a $50,000 house and is at a 27.5% interest, they're paying like 13K interest rate. Divide that by 20, like to get 25% of that is $3,437. And I don't know if that's split or if that's, you know what I mean? That's still more than what we were making. But if the percentage to you is extremely too low from 2K to 3.4, then I get it. I'm not against this at all. I am just actually surprised that he said yes to Cammie, because in my opinion,
We've
the way that
had
the
these
government
ideas
employees-
before as well.
yeah, so that's why I'm surprised he said yes to you.
Here's the first one I sent him
Nothing
with all
against what
3.
you're doing. I am surprised he said yes to this amount, because to me it's a lot compared to where he was even last month when Ellie and I talked to him.
Yeah,
That's why I'm like, he said yes
definitely
to
a
this?
lot. But like I did
if
bring
he's
up the
saying yes to
examples
this, then
today.
that's great.
So I brought up my examples today. I said, so for example, I just went and did a poll, right? I pulled a $1 million home in the Vespucci Canals that is only an upper space about the size of a Jamestown house. That's probably not going to sell. Nobody likes that unit. It doesn't have, the nice, it doesn't even look nice. Not to mention the other one I got is on the Snow Gang territory at Bay City. I did call them. They're not interested. They'd prefer I not post it. And then the third one is a Dutch London. And I didn't say that I wouldn't post it, and they didn't say I couldn't, right? I just said, that it's because it's one of the tiny units for 220. So if you post it, right, it's a really, really small unit. It just doesn't even pay for me to post it. I'd be better off holding a spot for a direct sale. And then the other one was a Dutch London for $41,000. I said, so if I post Dutch London, I'll make $800 some off of it, maybe 900 if somebody just snipes the bid. The $1 million home I'll post because the 220 doesn't make sense, and it's not going to sell because nobody wants that $1 million house there. And I said, so I'll now go an additional day, 24 hours, maybe making $1,000. I've been here all day and I haven't gotten a call for a bid.
Do you have any other jobs?
I do, yeah. But I was clocked on. on real estate. So it's just like, and at this point now, people will call me when I'm not clocked on.
Yeah, same.
When they need to bid. So yeah,
like it doesn't. No, everybody knows that we're around.
Right. So I said like this, you know, today, for example, I will go this 24 hours, and if the Dutch London sells, I might make less than $1,000, and I'll go to Al Dente's twice today to eat and spend more than that just to be, you know, driving around available. I said we don't make hourly, so you know, and I kind of just like laid it out and then showed him, you know, how much I've made and how many days I went without sales or a single sale on a home in the last 7 days. And I said, you know, 15 might sound like a lot, but when, like, how rare it is that we get $2 million homes that we're posting, or, you know, significantly priced homes at the same time that both sell, would be very rare. And if we did, it would be like having a really great day at PDM. So I just try to put it in perspective. And if at the end of the night he says, nah, Leah, we're not going to do it, fuck that, then that's what happens. But if he does, then we're making more than we were. We can still feel great about the amount of time we spend doing this. And for me personally, like, I'm hoping it sparks that passion back, because I'm not like sitting there when I get a call and be like, oh, fuck, I got to go take a bid quick. And then being like, shit, it's 2K, but I love fucking doing it, you know?
Yeah, so no, I get that. Like, I am just so confused how he instantly approved this when Ellie and I were going to him for weeks on end.
He basically just said that you guys went to... He said that you guys you guys told him what the problems were and complained about it, but didn't provide a solution, which I find hard to believe. But that's kind of what came out of his mouth. And then he said, all you're doing is coming here complaining about it, but you're not giving me any solutions. So I said, fine, then I'll give you a solution. I will put together a price proposal. Yeah. And I said, and you're going to look at it with me, because I said, I do not want to lose my passion for this. And I don't think, even if I were to not do real estate anymore, this is not like a desirable job. It's one of the worst paying jobs in the city and the most demanding.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just told him that I'll put it together.
It's just insane.
Yeah. So I don't know. If it goes through, great, then we can maybe, you know, we can pay our bills. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. And that's just kind of like, that's just what it is then.
Yeah. In my opinion, and this is not to be rude towards government employees or civilians of the city, they view things so different. We deal with people that are bidding $1 million houses, having all this money, and we see this every single day. It's in our face. I, for example, opened up the 1042, completely planned the entire grand opening, Carmela's wake, Allie's retirement party, hired all of the employees, interviewed all of the employees. Leanne makes $200,000 in the first week of opening 1042. Oh, she texts me, I'm sending commissions to all the managers. And I'm like, oh, great. All of my hard work was worth something. You know how much she sent me? $5K.
What? Oh, my God.
I think civilians or people that are government employees, they don't understand the economy.
Yeah.
They don't see how much work and effort it takes to do things. So after that, I was like, I'm taking a step back. I'm not going to work for someone else's company. This is too much.
Right.
I was there to help. I hired all the first 20 people and I'm good. You know, I'm going to just let her do her thing. But it's like, that's why I was so surprised when Ellie and I tried to get a boost in our percentage. And he said, if it's a state house, no. He was not even willing.
He wasn't willing to have a conversation about it. It was just a flat no.
He instantly said no. Like, he didn't even let us talk.
He did say, too, he's like, my problem is if it's a government, and I was like, yeah, well, like, what do you want us to do? Like, we have to sell these homes, period.
Yeah, that's our
job. So that's, you know, like, yes, okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, we're selling the property. We need to make enough to live, period. And we're not. So I don't know.
I agree.
Maybe he's just sick of hearing. I don't know.
Yeah, if he says yes, great. If he tells me, Leah, we're good to implement all the things that Cami wants to implement, I'll be say, great. Okay, let's do it. If he says, Leah, what is the solution to this? How would you guys like me to rebuttal as a team? Because like I respect and value your opinion, and I can come back with him with this is what we should do.
You mean if he says,
It's
what are
too
we
much.
doing? And you say like, this is a good proposal. We all agree. And he
I
says
assume
no.
he's going to come to me with a, what is this, Leah? This is too much money.
We need the extra slot. That needs to happen. That's what you and I have been fighting for fucking weeks. We need more slots for direct sales that are separate to government so that, you know, we can't list all 3 of them if that is a genuine concern. We need the ability to direct sale. I do think it needs to be more than 2K. Now, whether that's 15K, whether that's fucking 10K, 8K, anything is better than 2K.
Yeah.
And remote clock
And I
in.
mean, yeah, the mobile clock in.
Yeah, the mobile clock in, 100%.
I think you can probably vouch for that as well, if that is what you are able to use, because we don't have that option.
I thought it was like when you're a PT. You have a headache, you clock back in.
Yeah, no, it's
'Cause it's like if I was already clocked in, then I do that.
yeah, we don't have that.
The other day, Ellie and I were over by Forum. I was I was taking a bid there. My head popped. I had to wake up there to tell them that I was going back, and then had to go drive back to clock in. She had to wait with them for me to drive back again, then to take a bid. So annoying.
It's a pain in the ass. One thing I did request that is if you are clocked into any other jobs, you should be clocked out.
Well, that would automatically do that, right? The minute you
Not
clock
in work
into a
groups,
new
no.
job.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry. What?
Not in like work groups. Like if you're doing labor jobs around the city, it does not clock you out.
Oh, you mean labor stuff? I mean, yeah, that makes.
Oh, I thought you meant a different job, like Bahama Mamas or.
Yeah.
No. Like
Okay.
Do you want it like lawyers? If I were to go and do something, it signs me out of lawyer.
in my opinion, yes, that should.
I mean,
be
that makes
what
makes
happens.
sense. Yeah.
Well,
Because if you're doing something,
you're not
else,
getting paid hourly though, so why would that matter?
You don't get paid hourly as lawyer either.
I know,
because
but I
you're
mean, like, what
because
if
you
I'm
shouldn't be on
available
call
and
if
I
you're in the
can
middle of a
leave?
job.
Yeah, but say you're like there for, and I'm like, this is just me spitballing, right? Say you're there, you're farming, and somebody calls and you're like, yeah, absolutely.
That's
and
why you put your
can
yellow
leave
page
and
ad
go, leave and go farm, or leave and go do your real estate. But then they can see you in the book and they know you're. I mean, they know you're there.
I mean, I get 25 calls a day. I have my ad out in the yellow pages, Realtor 1042 manager. I'm not clocked into the HOA app, and I get calls all day long.
Well, yeah, but you haven't established. I mean, we need to think about other than just us. Like,
No,
what
I
about
understand that.
Mary
Mary,
Poppins, who's a little bit newer? Like, what if she's
Mary
bored
May,
in the?
everybody needs to put their ad out.
I guess I'm not seeing the harm in doing like
Because I feel like
you're
not that
you're going
getting
fishing or doing a.
hourly. It's more so because I am being told by people that they're calling realtors that are clocked in and they're telling them they're too busy. Oh,
I think having the remote clock on will counter will counter that anyway. Yeah,
you go back in.
Exactly. Once you're done with your other thing, you can just go back on.
Another job.
I think it makes sense that it is like if that is the proposed thing. The counter to the ability to remote clock on is if we are doing other stuff, then we're not.
That way, you can go about your day. You go do a job.
I think that's
clock
fine.
Back in when you're done.
Because then I'm also going to have the ability to clock off if I have the ability to clock on without having to go to the computer.
Just go off duty. Correct.
Okay.
I think you can. Can you not go to like any job and just go off duty?
You can.
Clock in,
what?
clock out. It immediately will remove you.
Yeah.
So if you go to PD, if you go to the front, you just click off and it goes immediately clocks you off, no matter what job you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
At PD?
Like if you have another job.
Yes. Like if you're clocked in, you don't want to be clocked into there, you just clock off.
Oh, I've never done that. I guess so. Are we saying then, like, I do believe mobile duty will help, but are we saying then, unless you're just driving around, sitting there waiting for calls, you shouldn't be clocked into real estate? Like,
No.
what if you're?
You should be clocked
what if
in,
you're?
but when you clock into a different job, it clocks you out.
Okay, and you're just saying jobs that
Only
are
when you clock in to a
on
job.
the labor app.
Any job that you clock into, no matter what it is.
Okay, as a lawyer, if you go and sign up for any labor job, or if you go and do houses, or you go and do anything like that, you get signed out of lawyer. She just wants the same thing for realtor. Which makes sense. If you're going and doing other activities, you don't need to be clocked in.
I'm all good.
Okay. I didn't know if you could hear, like, it got silent. So it's like...
Oh, no, I was just, I mean...
Yes,
yeah,
I haven't
I
forgotten about
saying.
you. I'm just doing a meeting really
I get, like, you know, if you're out doing a job,
Sorry.
garbage runs, things like that. Like, for me, like, if I'm out fishing and I'm just waiting, I can stop fishing at any time. You know?
You don't have to clock in for fishing.
No, you don't. So, I mean, yeah, I don't... It doesn't bother me either way.
It should be any job. It should be houses. It should be labor jobs. It should be other places of business.
The mobile clock on will be really
it should be everything. If you are, I'm gonna be real.
Driving up to Sandy, doing things,
even boosting and things like that. I agree that you should get clocked out.
You go to, you walk into a business. Oh, you work there. Oh, you can go help a customer real quick. Let me help this customer real quick at 10:42. Let me walk.
But having the ability to clock in.
That's it.
After you're done.
It clocks you out because you clocked into another business. And you just clock back in. Because we have the mobile clock in.
Right. Yeah.
If we didn't have the mobile clock in, I wouldn't suggest that. It's because, like,
you're
suggesting the mobile clock in.
Yeah, if we didn't have mobile clock on, I'm not going to lie, I would not go back to the office 7 times a day to clock in. I just wouldn't clock in and then see if somebody reaches out and then go do it to take the bid, which is still even a pain. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I don't really do any jobs on the labor app anyway, so it doesn't affect me. But yeah.
No, that's not true.
No big deal for me.
If I'm not doing lawyer stuff, or if I'm not, in the middle of stuff, I would just clock on.
I mean, when you talk to him, just stick to the current proposal and say this is what we'd like. And
is this the first one or the 24 minutes ago? So
the one I sent 24 minutes ago or whatever, those were the 3 proposals I had presented, and he chose number 1.
No, we did that before Gusami, and it was
but I wanted to show you all of the ones
it would show
that I proposed,
regardless of you being around or not.
A flat 2K with 15, and then the opportunity for us to make 4% up to 100K, so we weren't making $800 on an apartment sale.
Because it's
actually
so
crazy.
Low. I mean, that makes sense, 100%, because like what I was saying with the interest rate. It doesn't help when, people that have low interest rates are buying cheaper properties, but the get is around the city.
Yeah.
So this proposal, 3 is good because it just goes 4%, 2, and then 15.
Yeah. I mean,
So
this is what I presented, and
brackets,
he picked number 1. So 2 and 3 right now are, I mean, out of the 3, I gave him all the options. He said number 1 was the one he was approving. He said he liked proposal 3, but he's okay with proposal 1 instead, to give us 4% up to the 100K and then just a straight 2% to 15 instead of having a cap at 10 for the in between. So he's the one that picked, the number 1.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. As long as you guys are all comfortable with that, that's completely fine with me. Again, I just want to be in the loop with these conversations because it's going to come to me anyways.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a very stressful day, and then the time that he made me deliver this within
super quick. He kind of
very
snaps his
quick.
fingers. He said that to me when he wanted up and at him. He goes,
Yeah.
Leah, why isn't this 2 kitchens? I had to internally change. It was so much work.
Yeah, I called Ellie twice and I texted her. I'm like, Colt wants this now. And like she was busy at court. And so then he called and he's like, where is it? And I was like, I'm doing it right now. And so it was just, honestly, it was a very exhausting day and I put it together. So I definitely didn't do it to like go behind you guys. I hope you know that. I was just making my plea, you know,
No,
as I was deciding what to do.
Like, that's why every single time, like, I'm going to talk with Colt, I call Ellie and be like, hey, you know, Colt's down to talk. Let's go. That way we both, because we have different perspectives, we have different realtors that work under us. She's had conversations that I don't know of with Ari, with Faye, with you, you know? So that's the only reason why, like, I always just, you know, Colt, wait, like, let's talk with the managers so we're all kind of on the same page.
I wouldn't be against it being a handshake
honestly,
group
it just
either.
Kind of happened very fast, and I've been very overwhelmed today. So, not my intent. Apologize that it wasn't like a big group discussion.
Like, what's happening that's stressing you out?
Just drama. Just drama.
It's personal. It's okay.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not like oh my god, I have so much shit to do. Blah blah blah. It's more.
Yeah.
It's more relationships. So.
I get
yeah.
you, I get you.
But.
Yeah,
Okay.
Don't overwhelm yourself. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't want you to feel like I don't like. I just want to be involved in the conversations. That's all.
100%, as you should.
Hello?
Hi,
that
I am
definitely was not the intent.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, I'll be there in a second.
Don't crash. Drive safe.
I will try not to.
Whoopsies.
Okay, bye, baby.
Okay,
all right, bye.
Night.